All right, today we're going to talk about my 4010 diesel. This tractor's got a couple nicknames. It's been a little bit of a problem tractor, I guess you could say. One of its most significance is the Meigs County curse. Hopefully we get to that story as I talk about it a little bit. But anyway, I bought this tractor. It was a 1961 early 4010 gas. At least that's what the back half is. I brought it home and it basically ran when I looked at it and ran onto the trailer when I paid for it. And that was the last it ran. When we got it home, couldn't get it started. Fiddled with the carb and everything. And I bought it with the intentions of putting a diesel motor in it. So as you see, what is under the hood is definitely not what should be in it. So I guess we'll give a walk around and explain what all I've done. Well, maybe we'll do the history first of it. This tractor, I found it on Facebook. It was on a for sale ad, and I called about it, and the guy said, all right, come and look at it. It was a 3-hour trip to go see it. So I had him take a bunch of pictures for me, and tractor is very, very straight. At least it looked like in the pictures. Tack was unknown, had no idea how many hours on it, but I got it. It had different tires on it. I added the tires all the way around it, new rims. But anyway, a little bit of the backstory behind it. I found out where this tractor was. It was in southern Ohio, and I wasn't really a friend at the time, but an acquaintance down there where this tractor came from. So I actually had called him. I called his dad and asked him if he knew the fellow that I was looking at the tractor, and if he knew the tractor itself, and I was hoping it would be a small world. So anyway, it turns out that the guy's name was Tony that I had called, and turns out that he actually knew the people that had this tractor. Didn't live too far from where they actually live right now, basically a stone's throw. And he actually told me that he owned this tractor at one point. I can't tell you what years that was that he owned it, but anyways, when it was under his ownership, the front half of this tractor, which was a gas, it's a later serial number. It's one of I believe it was a 63 model, the front half, basically from the cowling forward. They bought it in Missouri, brought it back with another tractor, if I recall the story correct. And the reason they bought it was the rear end of this tractor, actually this rear end here, had the top shaft out of it. So they stole the rear end of this tractor and they put it on, or they stole the rear end off of this gas part jobby and they put it on a diesel engine that somebody had, and then they created this one. So this 4010 is definitely a Heinz 57. It's built out of who knows how many tractors and who knows how many states it's been in. But anyway, they rebuilt the rear end and they got it all back together, and they ran it around as a gas tractor for a while, if the story recalls, which I'm sure my buddy Rusty, which would be Tony's son, he could probably refresh me if I miss anything in the comments, because I'm sure he'll watch this. But that's basically what it is. I added the side panels, and it's not the hood that came on it, because unfortunately after I did my build, my grandpa was working ground with it. And another reason it's the curse is because he drove it off the side of the field and hit a tree with it and destroyed the hood. Luckily, the steps, on the other hand, I'm a real big fan of putting the grandpa steps on these new gens. he smacked this thing right here, and I'm gonna say that saved his life when he hit the tree. Basically, this whole front corner was smashed clear back through. It didn't get this, but it destroyed these two, so he made it out just fine. Nothing happened to him. Just shook up a little bit. I don't know if he just wasn't, that was right after I got done building it, and I don't know if he just wasn't comfortable or if the steering on this has some issues, so maybe it jerked or something. But anyway, so the front half of this tractor was a gas tractor, and the rear half was a diesel. The serial tag is still on it, and it states that it is a diesel. I believe the number 2 of the tag. Can't really get it to focus. But anyway, it is a very early, very early diesel. And you can tell that because there is no brake latch on the pedals. And I've also got another 4010, which I'm going to put together a video of this. But it actually has the light rear end where the final drives right here are a lot narrower. They're like a 1/4 inch narrower, so it has a light rear end. And it's, I believe, even earlier than this one, and it is also a gasser, which we're gonna put a 466 or a 404 or something, and I don't know, I guess play with it. So anyways, after I got this tractor home and it didn't run right, I actually sold the gas motor back to Rusty and his dad Tony. I forget what they were going to put it in, but so it actually went back home where it belonged because I didn't want that gas motor. And another friend of mine had a 7700 combine, and we robbed the motor out of that combine and we put it in this 4010. As you can see, it's got some modifications done to get it in there. I wish it's a natural aspirated engine. I wish it had a turbo, but big things can come later. So the things that I had to modify just real quick to get this engine in here is the front pulley up here. I had to machine it down, and Mr. Tim Sweeney, I'm sure anybody interested in 4010 world would know that name. He helped me come up with the ideas to put this in here because he's done a number of them. He told me the dimensions to machine that at, which I have them wrote down. I don't know them off the top of my head. And I switched it over to the newer style hydraulic coupler. Also, we had to cut the fan shroud out, and we had to modify the block of this thing, if I can get this side shield off. Normally, it's a pain in the butt trying to do this. Set the phone down for a second. Alright, now we're back. The block here, we had to cut it out for the hydraulic line to go through, which you'd never know it. And so, but she fits right in there. Also had to make my own air piping, so I had to notch this out, and that's the rude and the crude part. And being creative, like I think I am, I also adapted a newer style air cleaner to it, a Donaldson. I actually emailed Donaldson, and they were able to come up with this filter, judging off the cubic inches and RPM I wanted to run. The tractor does get a little warm. It's one downside to it, but I mean, I pull 416 plow with it, and it seems to handle her just fine. Plenty of power. I've dynoed it, and it dynos right around 115 horse. So, also, being a gas tractor, the throttle is on the left-hand side of this, and I also had to modify that. So, I put the diesel stuff in it, and of course your diesel should have the injector pump here. So I rigged up a neat little jack shaft off the combine. So when you do the throttle, it changes the direction. So yeah, and it's got some leaks. Like I said, it needs some cleaning up. It needs some work here and there, but it does everything I need it to do. So while I was at it, I also switched it to have two batteries, and it was already 12 volts, so we had that going for us. Put a new clutch in it, put a new flywheel in it, also put a new hydraulic pump up front, so it's got the main pump in it. About a year after we put the motor in this tractor, I put the one Firestone 151s on it, 16 938s. I think that's the only tire that looks good on these 4010s. And then I also put a 4-rib 11L15 on the front of it. Nice flotation. And I guess I forgot to mention the other curse it had. I was brush hogging corn stalks, and I broke the roll-o-matic off of this tractor. So we've been through plenty of rides with this thing. But up until this year, this was our big tractor, and I bought I did the conversion in 2015 when I put the new engine in it. So, but this year we bought a 4040, and the 4040's been our horse this year. So there she is. Just got done mowing some stuff with the sickle bar mower, and also have a set of duals for it. But I suppose we'll I'll put the sheet metal back on it, and then we'll fire it up and show you how it runs. All right, we're sitting on the seat of the 4010. Forgot to mention I added dual hydraulics to it. Put the valve up front, and I just ran some rubber lines to the back, and then I put just a normal standard quick attach on it. That way that if I had to hook up to something that had Pioneer outlets, I could do so. So I guess we'll fire it up so you can see how she runs. Pretty nice starting tractor. just a nice little drive so you can see how the 404 out of the combine sounds. It's definitely a different sound than what the typical diesel engine in a 4010 would be. So I think I've got a few videos of this thing running and some pictures of it. I'll try to post it at the end of this, and I just thought it would be a good time to give a little demonstration of the 4010. And like I said, I think I'm going to make another video of this compared to the other earlier 4010 and kind of show how the 4010 evolved a little bit. So as always, if you're new to watching my stuff, subscribe and like it, and go from there.